Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Powered by 3D Experience. My name is Mark Bierscheid and I'll be providing an update on the PowerdBy solution and what we've got planned for calendar year 2017. We'll start by discussing just a little bit PowerdBy Inovia. That's the existing solution that we have today. As we know, it's been around for quite a while now. It provides a good deal of design management capabilities such as search and navigate, design structure navigation, 3D visualization and collaboration, design lifecycle management, revision control and release management, being able to do impact analysis and be able to modify attributes, a lot of different capabilities out on the web, as well as it provides a lot of capabilities actually immersed inside of the design tools themselves. So we're providing two user experiences, one for the designer and within the design tool, and then for the non-CAD user and CAD users in the web experience, trying to make that an easy transition for those users. We also have a governance set of applications, bill of materials management, change management, and project management that can overlay the XCAD information. So if a company needs more capability around or more governance around releasing designs, especially when they're tied into a bill of materials or tied into a project, we interoperate very well with those applications, and our design data becomes part of those applications and whatever processes they're applying to the overall suite of components that might be there, such as a bill of materials or the CAD specification that's associated to it. So the capabilities that we offer with PowerdBy Inovia is really looking towards the governance applications today. We'd also like to include in the future, very near future, being able to extend the XCAD data out to applications such as 3DEXPERIENCE, SIMULIA, and DELMIA. So doing this is something that we've always wanted to really accomplish. It would provide us with such capabilities as being able to leverage true digital mock-up, being able to really support multi-CAD structures. So if I have a company that's using more than one design tool to design their product, they'd actually be able to see the entire product in its context with multiple design tools, and then be able to support the capabilities within the various applications that we have out there in 3DEXPERIENCE, Catia, DELMIA, and SIMULIA. So things like process planning, things like analytics, things like more electrical design, let's say, as a module within Catia. These are all things we could take advantage of if we could get the XCAD data in. To do that, there are some things that we need to do that are different than what we've been doing today. As some of you may know, we have basically two different underlying models, one being the traditional classic Designer Central model, and one being the model that 3DEXPERIENCE engineering applications sit on. What we really want to do is combine those. Now is the perfect opportunity to be able to do that. If we take a look at the existing Inovia XCAD design management solution, we know that it's applet based. We know that it's been around a while, needs a facelift. So the applets themselves are no longer supported by new browsers or current browsers. So that was an opportunity for us to really take a look at this design application and say, where could we go and evolve this to? Knowing that our targets need to be not only on-premise, which we support today, but cloud and mobility as we move into the future. So looking at where we needed to go, we decided we wanted to be able to take advantage of the new capability sets that are out there, including new user experiences, such as being able to use the 3D dashboarding, using the widget technology, being able to build up an app out of widgets that really helps the designer out on the website to be able to work with their information without ever opening up their design tool, or maybe collaborate much easier than what we've been able to do. So widgets such as folder editors or product structure editors or 3D play or compare capabilities all could be within a single application that really helps the user to be able to go through a design session by using the web. And it's a plugin-less solution as well. And we get to take advantage of all the 3DEXPERIENCE platform capabilities. So in doing this, this means we needed to make a shift actually in architecture, not only at the user experience level, but actually the underlying model. So this is where we want to go ahead and want to be able to now have XCAD really be built on top of the same model, underlying model, as what we would see with Catia 3DEXPERIENCE and the other DS-rich portfolio applications such as Delmia and SIMULIA. The values that come along with actually moving onto a common architecture are the following. Being able to do a configured multi-CAD digital mock-up, so increase the design capabilities. If we can move NX and Creo, for example, into the 3DEXPERIENCE world, we can apply a good deal of capabilities to those designs. Actually have configured design, leveraging the 3DEXPERIENCE Catia. Web and mobile access for session building and authoring. So not just being able to navigate a particular structure, but actually being able to do some DMU, being able to add in components, build a structure, and be able to open up that structure into the design tool. Integrated change and BOM management. So compliancy with enterprise processes. As I had mentioned previously, we want to continue to extend the XCAD data into the governance applications, but also start to take some of the governance applications capabilities such as change actions and build those right into the design tools themselves. So if the user has a change action they need to take care of, they simply could drag and drop their change action right into the design session and open up that particular design and start to work with it. So having more integral PLM type capabilities right within the design tool itself. And of course, as we go into the native supplemental usage of the 3DEXPERIENCE apps, we could take advantage of those applications capabilities, such as being able to bring a design in maybe a multi-CAD context design into Catia 3DEXPERIENCE, and maybe we need to do a wiring harness within there. We could use Catia Electrical to be able to do that, and we could take advantage of Delmia and SIMULIA's capabilities as well. One of the real big pluses that we get here is getting to the cloud. By moving to a common architecture, we'll be able to have a much more easier deployment for the customers that are going to go cloud-based with our application. Customers such as in the mid-market that don't really want to impose a lot of IT expenditures on personnel or equipment excuse me, will go to the cloud. So they want to be able to simply have their design tool plug into that cloud and be able to interact and manage the information that they're designing, and then extend that to the other applications as well. So what do some of those values look like in the way of real capability? The industry folks and the R&D folks got together and built a scenario using what the new values would look like. So as we start to walk through this, let's just take a quick. First thing is, and yeah, we're using an airplane, and I know not everybody designs airplanes, but it does actually show capabilities that any customer would need, irregardless of what they're actually designing. So the first thing under a product architect is a configuration review. There's a few different configurations that they may be able to look from. So here they have available product configurations. Again, we could apply this to the XCAD. They have unit 1, 2, and 3. So the product engineer can go ahead and select which product configuration they want and start to be able to look at that and analyze what they want to do. In this case, the story is we need to make a change to the radar system. So here we take a close look at what the radar system actually is, where it's located, and then notice the first design tool that we're going to use is the SolidWorks tool. This is the electronics box that runs the radar system. So here the SolidWorks data is being checked in from SolidWorks. So as that occurs, we have the opportunity to do the same thing with Catia for the actual mechanical radar unit itself, and then be able to, within the product architecture, insert those components into this assembly to get an idea of what they would look like. Again, we're here and basically doing a digital mock-up type of a scenario. So we go out and we search for each of the respective components, and it doesn't matter where they came from, we're supporting them under the same common architecture. So here we can see that 3 different tools, Catia V5, SolidWorks, and 3DEXPERIENCE Catia, are being used in this scenario. So now we'll go ahead and we'll start to do a bit more of the digital mock-up here and start to pull in other associated information like the nose cone on this jet. We can see that we instantly have an issue here where the radar screen is actually hitting the fuselage itself. So that's kind of a problem. We don't want to have that happening. So here, right in context of that design, we can open up a change action and pull in that change action with the proposed changes, put it into in work, and then drag that into our structure here and look at that. So it's like, okay, we know what component, as we look through this, that we want to change. We can do a spatial query to see what's around it, understand that that is hitting the nose cone, and we wanted to be able to bring that information in, and then launch right from within the structure application into Catia V5. So that'll bring this particular assembly in, and then the designers can go off and make the necessary changes so that as the radar unit articulates, it doesn't hit the nose cone anymore. So it's a matter of positioning. And then creating new revisions on the way in. Notice that when we do create the new revisions and we go back and we look into the change action automatically gets updated as to the realized changes that have occurred. So now again, extending the same information, no matter where it came from, what design tool, into the other applications such as SIMULIA to be able to do stress analysis or heat analysis, whatever the case may be. We have that capability to do that. So all this design information is interoperable with the other applications, the other engineering applications. Using other capabilities within Catia 3DEXPERIENCE, for example, as I said, maybe the electrical component, we can do a design in context where we got 3 different design sources here, but yet we're able to build more design content around all this information. And then finally, in Delmia, we have the opportunity to take this information, again, no matter where it came from, what it's made up of, and start to do our layout for manufacturing or assembly processes. So here we can see that the assembly processes are put into place, and now our radar unit isn't sticking out of our nose cone anymore. So that's all good. But the idea is, no matter what you're actually designing, no matter what you're designing, whether it's something simple or something more complex, the same types of scenarios are going to be there. You're going to do interference checking. You're going to want to be able to do structure addition. You're going to want to be able to see it in the web before you actually ever go out and make the changes within a design tool, so that you have to understand the full impact of what's happening with the design itself. Now, the next thing is, what roles are we going to provide to the what roles are we going to provide through PowerdBy? So there's a targeted role already today. It's called PAR. It's actually controlled availability only. We really created the product architect designer in the context of Toyota and Honda motorcycle. So we've been working with this type of an application for a while, but we've done it actually on the Designer Central, or the older data model. So we really, when we look at the values and what we have available as far as role goes for those, we're somewhat limited in today's 17, our 2017. Really where we want to go is to the 3D product engineer, where we'll have all the capabilities, and that'll be GA at 18X, and we transition into a new role called PAU. So we'll have the configured multi-CAD, the web mobile session, the integrated change, native supplemental usage in cloud. So the targeted roles for the various applications, or the values that we have here, are really targeted at PAU. PAR we would only want to use for demonstration only, which we'll discuss a little bit. If we look at the roadmap, we started out with the PowerdBy Innovia, and that's our first step there that we've had for quite a while. Now as we start to walk along our roadmap, we notice that 2016X FD to 2017X is where we've had the PAR, which is under, again, controlled availability. So it's web mobile and session building authoring. As we move along, the real first PAU capability for that role, and that's the 3D product engineer, will be our 2017X FD04, and that'll be for Catia V5 only. So that'll give us the configured multi-CAD, the integrated change and BOM management, and extension into the other applications, the other DS portfolio applications of Delmia, SIMULIA, and Catia 3DEXPERIENCE. At 2017 FD05, and again, notice too that these are controlled availability at both of those levels. So FD05 will introduce SolidWorks Desktop as well. So we'll have Catia V5 and SolidWorks Desktop available at the FD05. And then when we get to 2018X, we are going to GA everything. So we'll be cloud available, and we'll also have Catia V5 and SolidWorks Desktop as GA, not controlled availability. And then the final step in this roadmap is to integrate the other XCAD into the common model. So we'll have Solid Edge, Creo, NX, and Inventor able to work with the same data sets as Catia V5 and SolidWorks. So that's at an FD yet to be determined. That's the direction we're going in, and that's the roadmap that we're going to choose to get there. Now, the path to 3D experience for Catia V5. Catia V5 is going to be our obvious target to start with because of our direction and really what we're doing here. So initially, the 17X Catia 2017X GA, really what we'd like to do is to be able to bring the Catia V5 customer directly into 3DEXPERIENCE Catia. And there's a thing to be aware of here, of course, and we see that all along the bottom. This is the ultimate situation. As a customer is just on Catia V5 and they say, yeah, let's go ahead and go right to 3DEXPERIENCE Catia. This requires a transformation in business process and thinking, because it's a different world, right? So we're going from Catia that might be based on a Designer Central type of an architecture, and then bringing them right into a Catia or 3DEXPERIENCE Catia world. The next one for Catia would be going to PAUs for our 2017X FD04, and again that's controlled availability, where we really take the Catia user and they start to work with 3DEXPERIENCE Catia just through being on the same model. So they can use the Catia V5 right in the context of 3DEXPERIENCE Catia. So be aware of the following: cloud and non-DS CAD is targeted for our 2018X, not this particular release. If originating from legacy XCAD, beware of the new data model. Again, it's a change in that there'll be a migration involved in there. PAR is actually a third and lesser desirable option. PAR is going to stop at within 2017X. As we mentioned, PAU is going to be the way forward. It's there. It's for Catia V5. There's no mixed structure, change configuration, cloud, no supplemental opportunities. It does give the Catia V5 user under a Designer Central type of a data model the ability to use some of the new capabilities within 3DEXPERIENCE as far as 3DEXPERIENCE Innovia, which is really the dashboarding capabilities, the product structure edition, and that it does have a shorter life. So if we take a look at the paths in a different view, first priority, as I had mentioned, is so we can get people from Catia V5 right into 3DEXPERIENCE Catia. That's great. A second option is to take them to PAU. So, and hopefully not stopping at PAR. Again, it's like PAU will be available for Catia V6 at 17x FDO4. So we want to be able to bring the V5 users, the Catia V5 users into that path. And then again, the least desirable, as we said, is PAR actually stops at 17x, and really we want them to go to the full user experience, either through PAU or directly to the full user experience. So that's really it for PowerdBy. A lot of big changes going on. I'll take any questions at this time. Thank you.
Yes, please. What are the components that we need to install on the server side for this to make to work?
There'll be a new component. First of all, it will sit on top of Designer Central Foundation. There'll be a new component called UCAD. Actually, that is your unified product structure layer that's going to go in. So there is an additional component to install.
Okay, and do we have any additional processes other than 3D space to run for this to function?
No, not really. It's one of the things we did not do at this point is change the client-side architecture at all. So that's going to remain the same. The connector will remain the same, but how it talks to the back end's a bit different, and it's hitting a different model underneath. So we tried to make it as clean as possible for this particular cut. I'd say in the future we may do some things on the client side as far as an architecture, but initially we're going to use the existing architecture and just overlay a new component into the server side to be able to accommodate the common architecture.
Okay, there is one component that was available at 17xGA, the PAU, I think.
No, PAR.
PAR, okay, and what for us, if you want to play around with this to demonstrate this, we just need to install GA. This component is available at GA?
It started at, yes, it is component. It is available at 17xGA. You do need to give yourself the PAR product. You know, when you go assign product. Yes, you need to assign PAR as a role once you've got the user. And then you can go into a dashboard, pull in the XCAD structure editor. That will pull in the structure editor as well as 3D Compose, and you'll be good to go.
Okay. And this works with only the new data that we created in 17x, correct?
Yes, with Catia V5.
And do we have any prerequisites on the Catia V5 version?
Good question. I don't know the exact answer to that. I've been using what have I been using? V5. I've been using V5-6R 2017 with it. I think it would go down to 16 as well.
So it's probably just safe to just stay with the latest one and should work.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ramesh. There's another question from Rajani. So,
okay. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
I have a question regarding the unified change management from 3DEXPERIENCE to Catia V5.
Mm-hmm.
I see that one of them is the 3D dashboard is in place. So is that mandatory?
To use the 3D dashboard?
3D dashboard, is that important to have it for the unified change management? Can we do it only with 3D space?
You could just use go into change management. You could go into change management and create a change action that way as well. Okay. But it's really, the thought here is actually what we'll do is we'll have change actions right within Catia V5 itself. So those are going to look the same as what they would in the dashboard. So the dashboard's definitely the way to go.
Okay. So another question regarding that one. So if we create a change for the Catia V5 data, where is it going to go to the Catia V5 user? How is it going to communicate to them from 3DEXPERIENCE to the Catia V5 user? So how will they see it in the 3D dashboard, or
there's a widget that is their change actions management, and they should have those widgets. I mean, this is a part of the setup, right? So you want to pull in the widget for change actions management, and anytime a change comes to them or is created by them or they're assigned to it, that'll show up in their widget as an action that they need to go and take a look at. They also will get notified through mail that there is a change action there.
Okay. Okay. And do you have any other detailed step-by-step instructions if you need to replay this one? Is there anything available other than the user documentation?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
We're working very hard and very fast, and we will have more enablement documentation as we go.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Rajani. Is there any other question? I think there are no more questions. Thank you very much, Mark, and all the participants. With all of our presentations, care should be given so they do not get distributed outside the DS system. Thank you all, and have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.